Home educating in the UK is completely legal, but the government will not pay for it. If you're thinking about taking this path, you need to know exactly what it costs. First off, no government funding. When you deregister from the school, you take on the full financial responsibility of your child. There are no grants, no vouchers, no state support, absolutely nothing. A lot of people assume that the local authority will still provide some things like specialist or therapist support. In most cases, they just don't. If your child has an EHCP, this does get a little bit more complicated though, because there are certain situations where funding can continue, but that's a whole separate conversation. And if it does apply to your family, it's worth getting proper advice and support. The bottom line is, don't assume any financial aid once you pull your child out of the school environment. If your child wants to sit GCSE or A levels, they have to do it as a private candidate, which means that you will have to pay out of pocket for their exams. The exam board fee per subject is roughly £50, but that's not what you actually pay. Exam centers can charge fees on top of that, and it can also vary per subject that you are writing. For instance, sitting 8 GCSEs, you're roughly looking at about £1,000 to £2,000, maybe even more than that. And that's before any tuition or study materials. Finding a registered exam center isn't also very straightforward. Availability varies on where you live, and some areas have very limited options. For families with academic pathways in mind, exam fees can be incredibly lucrative and something that you will need to plan far in advance. So with home education, it can require one parent to be completely unemployed or significantly less employed. And that might not be a small thing for certain families. For most families, it can be a significant drop in household income. Some families are able to manage with one parent working part-time or flexibly. The financial model has to work for your specific situation. This is often the real cost of home ed. The good news is that there are a lot of free resources out there. There is a huge amount that you can do with a little bit of money. You can use BBC Bitesize, Oak National Academy, Duolingo, your local library. If you want to use low cost things, Twinkle's a great one. There's also museums that you can go to, art centers and local libraries. There's a lot of things that you can do during the week that would be significantly cheaper than having to do over the weekend. You can also look at the fact that there are a lot of home ed groups and communities that have a lot of secondhand products that you can use, such as books or resources. The great thing about it is that communities can be very understanding and generous, and they can help you out during your starting out phase or just any part of your home ed journey. The greatest strategy to use: try out the free and low cost way first and only spend money on the things that you really have to. Home education can absolutely work on a budget, but it works better when you plan for the costs upfront. And just so you know, there are also some huge legal changes that are happening that can really affect home educators, and I'll be covering those separately. Drop your biggest financial question in the comments below and I'll try my best to answer it. I'll see you in the next one.